Hey, so there's a new Minecraft snapshot. Well, newish. It's still this week, okay? And it's a bit of a milestone because it's the first official 1.19 Java snapshot you can install directly from the launcher. So that's pretty cool. And yes, I may have scanned briefly through the changelog when it first came out and thought a lot of it sounded like carryover from the existing Bedrock snapshots we've already covered, as well as the last experimental snapshot with the Warden. And so I didn't think I needed to make a video, but then I realized a few days later I need to make a video. There's a lot of new stuff, so that's why we're here. Better late than never, I say too often. But first, let me quickly tell you about our sponsor, the like button, which you should click down below the video. And also, why is he wearing this bucket hat? Well, it's from the new quality content drop, which is available right now at qualitycontent.com, going for a little while longer. So check it out. Link below. Don't miss it. Okay, I actually like having sound, so we get to be ultra fashionable now. Okay, let's start off with mud. So now, okay, all of us who are like, let's make our super awesome dirt starter home, we can level that up with mud and mud bricks. So the way that you make mud, it's pretty easy, okay? All you take is a water bottle. Since I'm in creative, I can click as many times as I want, but it'll consume the water bottle if you're in survival. And I can just dunk these dirt blocks in the water bottle. It's a very dramatic sound when that happens. It's like a plunge. It's a real plunge sound. And then it turns it into mud. So this is a mud block right here. Now it's kind of like soul sand a little bit in that, like, if we walk onto it or if we go slowly, you'll see I dip down a little bit, right? So it's like just shave a little bit off the block height, even though the visual is flush with anything around it. You just sink down a little bit. But interestingly enough, as opposed to with soul sand, you don't slow down. You're able to just sprint full steam ahead through the mud. Not a big deal, but it does drop you a bit. So, you know, you got to be careful of lighting yourself on fire if you put it next to lava. I love when that happens with soul sand in the nether. It's always super awesome. And you can also, you know, if you don't want to exert manual labor, you can use a dispenser if you want. So we've got some water bottles in here and you can turn it into mud that way, just with the click of a button rather than like manually soaking the whole thing, because that's, quite frankly, that is a lot of effort. Now, you can also, with a crafting table and your mud, you can make packed mud. And you would think that it would be done by like that, but that's not actually the recipe, which it's kind of weird, but it is what it is. You actually take wheat and you combine it with the mud, and then you get packed mud. And I'm sure there is some real lore behind this, like, that's actually how you would make, you know, use Adobe or something but that's clay, isn't it? Whatever. Maybe you would use packed mud as a building block, and maybe you actually put hay mixed with it or something in real life in order to make it something that can be used as a building block. But in any case, you can take the packed mud now from that crafting recipe, and you can do that in order to turn it into mud bricks, which, you know, just the same sort of stone brick recipe. And then from there, once you have the mud bricks, you can then go into the stone cutter and you can convert it to whatever else you want. So at the moment, you have the full-on mud brick block, you have the slab, the wall, and the stair. And now you can actually make a leveled up, nice, fancy dirt house. No longer can you shame someone for having a dirt house because it might be mud bricks and actually really awesome. Also, you got to hear the mud brick sound. I love it. It's not what I expected. Yeah, mud bricks. I started off with the mud because it comes into play in a crafting recipe over here with the mangroves. Speaking of which, mangrove trees have sort of been added to the game. You're like, Jardon, how do you sort of add a tree into Minecraft? Well, because the tree technically doesn't exist yet, nor does the biome, but the blocks exist. So you can like manually create a tree and create life yourself. Starting with the mangrove propagule. It's hard to pronounce, okay? So this, you can place it down, you can grow it, and it grows into an oak tree currently. That's why I was like, the tree doesn't technically exist, but the blocks. Anyway, and you can also, as you'd probably expect from the demo during Minecon Earth, you can grow it underwater, which is pretty cool. So for limited time only, you can grow some aqueous oak trees, which is pretty dope. You know, if you want some aqueous oak trees surrounded by some seagrass, I mean, step right up for a limited time only in the snapshot. It's looking pretty cool. So for now, I guess you could say the propagule is really just a prop. So anyway, you can see that it's listed alongside the other saplings in the creative mode menu. So I'm fairly confident that eventually it will grow into a nice, big, beautiful mangrove tree that could look sort of like the one that I built over here to try to emulate what was shown in the footage from Minecraft Live. There's a little bit of guesswork, but I'm assuming it's the muddy mangrove root block that would be in the water, and then that leads into the mangrove roots, and then that goes into the mangrove log, and then leaves on the top. And in the Minecraft Live footage, they had a whole bunch of vines growing off the trees. So I do think it could look something like this. And then when it's in its own biome with all the mud all over the place and a bunch of the mangrove trees, I think it'll be pretty nice. It's a good bit of variety there. Anyway, I've got them all on the ground, except for the leaves. I left an open spot for the leaves. I did that on purpose. So we got the muddy mangrove roots, the log, which then, like, you don't see it over there when it's just in tree form, but then you slice it open and you're like, whoa, it's kind of like it's like a blood red on the inside, which I like because it's very different from the jungle wood style that we all expected from the footage that was shown before. So then we got the leaves. This is stripped. This is wood, stripped wood, and then come over here with the planks. And so I've compared them to the jungle wood, which is what they initially were gonna look like, and then crimson, because it's like, oh, so this is basically crimson wood, and then you line it up with the crimson wood, and you're like, oh, actually, it's pretty different from both. So it is a good bit of variety. It's pretty cool. I was like, how many more shades of wood can they possibly add in the game? Turns out there are options. Into the slab, the fence, button, fence gate, pressure plate, the door. Cool new variety of door. I like it. We've got the trap door, stair, mangrove sign, and a boat. Of course you can make a boat. How could we not forget that? Pretty cool stuff. So again, for now, all creative mode, but I'm sure they'll actually be added pretty soon here. Now, like I said in the beginning, a lot of the features that were listed as new for this snapshot were actually carryovers from the Bedrock betas and the experimental Java snapshot with the Warden. So I'm just focusing on what's new here that we haven't covered. But of course, if you missed any of that, there's videos that I've made. You should check the playlist in the description. I've made a lot of YouTube videos in my life, and you can check those out if you want. So frogs we've already covered, but this is the first time frogs are actually on Java. And now they actually have a breeding item. Before it was like seagrass as a temporary thing, but it's actually going to be slime balls. So, hey guys, you want to make some tadpoles? Let's go, dude. They just look at each other. They just stare. And then it's like, boom, tadpoles, eggs on the water. It works exactly the same as before. These will hatch eventually, and the frogs will go and do what frogs do and not really parent them or anything. They're just going to totally leave, and hopefully the tadpoles will make it on their own. I don't think they have any real natural predators around here, so it'll probably all work out in the end, but it's like they just set it and forget it. I just want to say I love that when you're in the pause menu, their animation keeps playing. Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's frog, no time to talk. So why are we in the nether with a bunch of frogs? This one's kind of a weird one. And also, it's a bit of a process getting them in here because I could not figure out the command in order to just summon them with their proper biome colors. But anyway, so we're going to spawn magma cubes. And yeah, they're going to eat the magma cube and poop out a froglight. This is a wholly unexpected one. It's very, very interesting to me, but each of the different types of frogs from the different climates, they will poop out a different froglight. So you can see, well, now I've gotten a couple of the pearlescent ones and the ochre. Now I need our green man over here. I need our green man to get this. Go for it. Do it, buddy. We need no. Don't steal it from the green man. No, give it to the green. Get it. Get him. You did it. All right. And now we've got all the different types of froglights. So the ochre or ochre froglight comes from the temperate frog, which is this one. So you belong to that one. And then the middle one, the pearlescent froglight, which is more the reddish one, that belongs to the hot climate frog. So you belong to that one. And then the final one, the verdant, which is more green, that belongs to, surprise, surprise, the cold weather frog. Yeah, jump on your assigned one, get on that one, and then you'll all be, oh, you're getting off. Okay. Anyway, also they are directional when you place them down, kind of like pretty much the same as logs. So just FYI, the texture is slightly different on each side of them. And that's Froglights. Also, like, who thought of having frogs poop out lights when they eat a magma cube? I just want to know the board meeting where that idea was thrown out. But I love it. It's worth mentioning, it does seem like a bit of work was done to make the deep dark a bit more deepier and darkier. Just seems like there's more coverage from the skulk blocks than there was before. I also lit it up with some of the Froglights. See, they're pretty bright, dude. Before I put them down here, it was real dark. I don't have my gamma turned on, so I had to do something about that so you can actually see. And it's pretty immersive. It's pretty deep dark. So, be on the lookout. Again, the entire deep dark and everything was listed as new stuff on this snapshot because it is the first time it's on the launcher in Java, but minor changes in comparison to what we experienced last time with all the stuff we looked at with the Warden. Last, but definitely, hopefully not least, there's a new option under Music and Sounds called Directional Audio. It's set to off by default, but you can turn it on, and I have had it on, and I haven't really been able to tell a difference, but maybe that's just because Astros, our headset sponsor, are just so good to begin with. You just can't really improve perfection that much. So thanks to them for sponsoring. Get 5% off any Astro headsets via the link in the description. Pretty cool. Anyway, it has this blurb here that says uses HRTF-based directional audio to improve the simulation of 3D sound, requires HRTF-compatible audio hardware, and is best experienced with headphones. So maybe it's better. I just have a hard time telling, but it's supposed to make it more immersive, and you'll be able to, in PvP, you'll be able to listen for those footsteps, know when somebody is coming. You'll be able to pre-sword them or pre-bow them around a corner. It's going to make the PvP gods even PvP godlier. So, okay, that's it for the Java snapshot. There's one more thing I wanted to show, actually, on the Bedrock beta. I have a question. Any of you guys, can you help me with this question? What's the deal with goat horns? They were added, wasn't it, in like the earliest Caves and Cliffs Bedrock beta back with goats? And then they've just kind of chilled here and nothing's been done. They've just been in the Bedrock beta. Never made it to Java, but there's new stuff with them, I guess. So I'm going to right click. Yeah. Now we can play beautiful jazz music. It's awesome. And there's many variations, okay? There's tons and tons. Look, here in the chest. All right, we can get resist. It's like the THX sound, but it's like goats. Don't know, dude. What is goat horns, bro? I mean, nice, smooth jazz here in Minecraft. But that's not all. You can craft goat horns into copper horns. And the thing is, okay, depending upon which of the goat horns it is, it corresponds to a different copper horn. Pure Water Desire. Resist goes to Secret Lake Tear. Ponder goes to Great Sky Falling. So on and so forth. They all correspond to different ones. Oh, and the way you get goat horns is when goats ram into a block. It drops the goat horn. Don't know if it varies based on what block they run into as to what goat horn you get in return, or if it's just it drops a random one, but then you craft them into the copper and... Nice. Wow. Do another. Heck yeah. And then there's a cooldown after you do each one. You can't just spam them over and over. Probably they don't want you to just make a cacophony of overlapping sounds. Here we go. That directional audio though, huh? Just kidding, we're in the Bedrock beta. It's not, it just seems to like emanate the sound from wherever you started blowing the horn. Just a magical like sound point that it creates in the air, and then it just plays from there. You just create a like speaker in the sky. But there's a lot. You can go and listen to them if you have the Bedrock beta. There you go. Goat horns. Eventually coming to Java. probably, maybe sometime. That's it for mostly the new snapshot, but also Bedrock Beta, goat horns, copper horns. Bro, I don't know. Make sure to like the video if you liked. It is our sponsor after all. Subscribe to this channel. Stay tuned for more videos in the future. Hit the bell, turn on notifications, and of course, check out qualitycontent.com for the new drop, which is pretty cool and has colored joggers and stuff and is super dope. Limited time. All right. See you later.